because we are now discussing about different kinds of cinema and what they're able to offer to actors, I want to ask you this. There is a certain narcissism associated with being an actor on some level, because you get to see yourself on screen, you get to, savor the pleasures of people watching you. But what I wanted to ask here is, how have you managed to remain insulated from the pleasures of stardom? Because you could so easily have chosen that path.
Oh yes, and thank you for mentioning that. I don't know, I just love strolling in the market and buying my own vegetables. I just love it. It gives me much more high than people taking my selfies. Selfies, I somehow feel that it is entering into my private space. It's being too close to me. Nowadays, even my wife is not that close to me. So, but you know, on a serious note, I personally feel that if I'm going to be keeping my car window black, how I'm going to be close to the people? How I'm going to understand what they are going through? How I'm going to observe them, get those characters, get their mind into my performance. More I'm going to cut off from them, more downwards my journey will go. It's going away from, my kind of an actor can't afford to be away from the people, simply, okay? Because I have not been chasing stardom ever. So stardom is a very different thing altogether. Stardom has to do with the mystery, stardom has to do with the glamour. None of these things I was chasing ever. What I was chasing is the roles, because I always enjoyed playing roles where I could feel that that's not me. This is somebody else. When that happens in few shots or few scenes of my film, I say, okay, you know, somewhere I succeeded in playing it well. Even if it is 2 shots, even if it is, say, five shots. You know, when I watched Gali Guliyan, why I say that it was very difficult, it's one of my best performances, my most favorite performance, because many of the scenes I personally feel that how could I do it? How could I not go mad doing that? So when you feel that as an actor, you feel that you've achieved something little bit. You can't do it if you are away from people. You can't do it if you are not getting out of your comfort zone and mingling with the crowd. I would like to travel in a metro. I would like to travel in a local train and just see those people every day celebrating life, even in that miserable condition. Because these are the people I'm going to portray on the screen. And if I'm not close to them, then there is a problem, because that's going to show in my performance too.
You're still fairly well known. You're still fairly well known.
Oh yes.
So do they allow you to have an authentic metro experience?
But you know what happens, that if you are not chasing stardom, if you are not leading a star's life, you are also not trying to be seen. What happens most of the time that actors want to be seen. When they want to be seen, they are going to behave in a certain way. When people are, the crowd is invariably going to look at them. So I don't want to be seen. That's the last thing I'm looking for when I'm in public. Because I am busy looking at the things, you know, looking at the people moving, or someone is standing at the bus stop, or someone is sitting and selling something. I'm busy looking at them rather than looking at myself.
I like how it beautifully tied in with the subject of our conversation, which is mastering the unseen.
Right. Yes. And one thing I learned from many of the actors who were really greats, and nowadays some of them are contemporaries, few of them. Like, an actor has to be like a fly on the wall. You know, he is in the room, but he's still not in the room. If you achieve that in real life, then things become quite easy. Then you can see things which is unseen. First, you have to be unseen. Just to see the things very clearly right in the room.
On a related note, because you mentioned Gully and how you think it's among your better performances, there's a moment there when your brother sort of enters the space. And it's striking how you avert eye contact with him.
Right.
Right? You can barely get yourself to meet his eyes, and so these little touches that you bring to a character, how much of that is something that you do in the spur of the moment? How much of that is well thought out? And you know what? I do not want to meet his eyes.
I don't think that with that those kind of details you don't think when you are reading the scripts, but those are the things that you start thinking about when you get the script one day, or the scene one day in advance, when you're in your room, hotel room, and then when you're reading it once, twice, thrice. You are trying to understand what has happened before and what is going to happen after, and then that is the time suddenly it kind of starts, those little things starts occurring to you. Then you want to try it out on the set. Then you go there and you rehearse and try to find out how much is it feasible, how much is not feasible, looking at the position of the camera, or how much it is agreeable to the director. There are too many things are going on, and also you feel that there is a co-actor with you. Is he getting it, or he is not getting it? There's no point telling your co-actor to look at your performance and then respond. No, if he can't see it, then you have to find other nuances for the character in that situation. So yeah, there's a work that keeps going on and on and on, and then your director wants you to watch the film and be more miserable about it because I hate watching my own, because I always feel that this performance is something it is a never-ending process, never ending. You ask me to watch my own film, I'll be hitting my head all the time, because why I could not think of those nuances, why I said my dialogue on that pitch, why my rhythm of this particular dialogue was, this, it could have been that way or this way, but you can't help yourself. Now it's done, okay? And actors mostly are left in miserable condition after watching their own performances. And I don't want to go through that.
You spoke about how it's important to be aware of the camera and what it's looking at while you're performing. On a related note, I mean, you come from a background in theatre, and I heard Mr. Denzel Washington recently discuss his performances, and there's something he said struck me. He spoke about how films are not an actor's medium at all, and how they are only a filmmaker's medium. Yeah.
I've said it.
I think there was a funny thing you mentioned where you can deliver the performance of your life, but the camera is focused on your shoes. What you going to do about it?
Yeah, I mean, whether camera is focused there or not, you suddenly find in the final print that editor or director, they didn't even find that shot of yours important enough to be kept in that scene, and they are focusing on something else, on the board at that point of time. So it's not your medium. It's not an actor's medium. Theater is actor's medium. Once the curtain is up, it's for 2 hours. The actors are on stage. They are controlling all of these people, the audience. They are controlling each and every move on stage is deciding the audience's gaze or the viewing. But in cinema, first of all, it's a director's medium. It's the last of the pyramid is actor. But when you are on the set, everyone is working for the actor to come and give a shot. Okay? But when it's on the edit, actor is one of the things that they are editing, right? They are looking at so many other facets of that film than just the actor or the performance.
While we are discussing nuances in performance, right? In Devashish's Choram, the way you carry your baby about while you're running here, while you're escaping people, it almost feels like you're almost a kangaroo, right? Almost like a child in your pouch, and it feels like you're a singular creature there. And I want you to touch upon this, and by extension, bringing a certain physicality to your performances. Right? Often, the sort of physical transformation that's extensively discussed is losing weight or putting on weight
Yeah.
or having a
Right.
six-pack abs. These are the physical transformations that are often spoken about. But these little details often go unnoticed.
I mean, there is a difference between the body language or the physicality of my character when he is young. He's a rebel, okay? So his physicality is very different. But when he's on the run with the baby after his wife is shot dead, when he is in Mumbai working in a construction place, his body language is completely beaten up. And when he's running, he's not Amitabh Bachchan, right? He's running for his baby's life. He's running to find an answer for so many things. So the body language had to be different. Someone who is exhausted, someone who is already, somewhere he has already accepted defeat, but he has to run for the baby. He has to run and go back into the jungle for the baby, where he doesn't want to go get into, right? This is where he was running away from. But he has to get into the jungle all over again only for his own baby's life. So the exterior is something which should be very, very subtle, I personally feel. In Aligarh, I was playing Ramchand's series. Professor was gay, but there was no extreme, what do you call, gay physicality that people have been so used to, watching it on screen, that I was completely bored and annoyed with it. I decided, I was very stubborn, that I'm not going to give any very obvious, physicality that is going to suggest that he's gay. Not at all, because the people, the friends that I have had were gays. None of them look like those filmy, gay portrayal. So I had to do this. Just one simple thing that I have done, the way I'm sitting here, that's the way I was sitting in the whole film. Okay, whenever Caesar was sitting, that was the only small suggestive physicality I have given it to. So likewise, with all the portrayal, all the performances, all the characters, little bit here and there, little bit suggestions of exterior that I try to incorporate in my performance.
And these crucial details play their part in avoiding certain stereotypes, in adding to the flavor of a film. Mr. Manoj, I would absolutely love to keep engaging with you for a longer time.
I'm loving talking to you.
Thank you so much. But maybe I just want to be greedy here and ask you a question or two, if I can manage it, before opening it to the audiences.
Yes.
I want to, anybody who's been in love with a person, with a process, knows that it's constantly changing, right? It's never one thing for too long. You fell in love with acting from when you were very young.
Right.
How has that love transformed? And what's keeping you in love now?
Okay. What I remember from my childhood, I was in, I think, 5th standard. That's, I think I can only remember that time because my parents were film buffs, and they used to travel to district town where we were in a boarding to meet us and to get us out of the boarding and take us to watch one film or two films. Okay, that's how I remember. I remember Mr. Bachchan's Zanjeer. That's that far I can remember, and not many scenes I remember till now. I haven't watched Zanjeer after that, only because I didn't want that memory to be corrupted. So it's just whatever was happening on the screen in that dark theater just fascinated me. It's a different world, and realized that a person can actually be so many things, so many people he can be. That fascinated me quite a lot. And then later on, my obsession with poetry recitation, because in my hometown there was no culture of theater. So the poetry recitation or elocution contest was the only way I could express myself on stage. And then in that small town, only the mainstream film used to be released, right? So I had no idea about the kind of films Mr. Nasruddin Shah and Mr. Om Puri were doing outside. Okay, so when I started doing theatre in Delhi, it was also kind of a film appreciation or performance appreciation course for me. That was a time I realized that there is a world beyond mainstream cinema, and which is far more artistic. It is like once you get used to listening to Bhimsen Joshi and Kumar Gandharva, you can't go back to listening to Hindi film songs, right? This is exactly what has happened to me. I fell in love with those performances. I fell in love with Shyam Benegal and Gobind Nihalani's world, and I just wanted to be part of that. Somewhere I feel that a performance should not only move people, entertain people, they should actually represent people and touch them, very deeply.
As a final thought, from a young theatre actor, almost resigned to a life of poverty, right? You've today become a legend, a hero for many young actors. What was a crucial quality that aided this growth, this transition? If that probably could be a good note in which to end this conversation, I think.
I know, I don't know, it's not very obvious to me, but let me try to articulate it. I would say that I've never deviated from the focus of being an actor. Even now, when I'm sitting here in front of so many people who love my work, thank you very much. I'm still a true blue newcomer actor who's trying to crack the code of acting. I'm still, with every role I feel that I don't know anything. I still have to learn a lot. I'm just fascinated by this craft called acting. And more I get fascinated, more difficulty I face in being an actor. हमारे हिंदुस्तान में क्या है कि we always feel that the acting is the easiest thing. When we go to our neighbor's place, suddenly auntie ji says, इनको जरा कोई काम दे दो अपने फिल्म में, इनको भी कोई रोल दे दो, and then you feel how easy it is considered to be an actor. And believe me, this is from my own experience. Actor's journey is still on. It's the most difficult job in the world to play another person.
Long may this love story continue. Almost sadistically, I want to say that may you continue to suffer in the pursuit of acting so some of us can enjoy these performances.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I am told that we may not have too much time for questions from the audience. Sorry to disappoint you.
May I now request Honorable Shri Sanjay Jaju Sir, Secretary, Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India, to kindly come forward to felicitate our celebrated speaker and moderator.
They might be sitting in three charges.
With a big round of applause.
That's not fair.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us with the felicitation. With this, our session comes to an end. We would like to thank our esteemed guests. We would also like to thank our audience for being with us. We hope you had a great time. And we definitely want to see you for the next one. Thank you and have a great day.
एक डायलॉग